the honorable judges, worthy opponent, and fellow debaters. I'm Hafga Citra Kusumaning Ayu, and today I stand in favor with the motion that education budget should prioritize teacher training and curriculum reform over infrastructure development. My first argument: teacher training enhances the quality of education. Teacher training is so essential for enhancing the quality of education. Well-trained teacher can deliver the content and lesson more effectively, adapt to new technologies, and cater to the diverse learning needs. By prioritizing teacher training, we can ensure that our educators are equipped to provide high-quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're just focused in infrastructure but the teachers are not well trained, that's nonsense. Imagine the facility is complete but the teacher can't deliver the lesson. That will be unmeaningful and the students can't understand the lesson. And every student has their different way to learn lesson. They have different needs, so teacher has to understand how to cater their needs. So complete facility is not the only one thing that we have to be focused on. The second argument: curriculum reform is essential to ensure that education remains relevant to the needs of the modern world. A modern curriculum can incorporate new subjects, skills, and technologies that prepare students for future challenges. By prioritizing curriculum reform, we can ensure that our education system stay up to date and relevant and effective. As we can see, what we learned when we were in the school, comparing what the students learn right now as we grown up, everything is same. There's nothing changed. So it's not up to date. That's why a lot of alpha generation don't have any motivation to study because they don't find it relevant for their work. It doesn't fulfill their needs. Ladies and gentlemen, curriculum reform is so needed because we through time to time, era to era, and now it's globalization era. And there is something very called AI, artificial intelligence. If the curriculum reform, the curriculum hasn't been reformed, the curriculum will be irrelevant to the world of the students. And the third point of my argument is long-term impact. Investing in teacher training and curriculum reform has a long-term impact to education. Unlike infrastructure, which may need periodic renovation and replacement, well-trained teacher and a relevant curriculum continue to benefit for the student for years to come. This makes teacher training and curriculum reform a wise investment for the future of education. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, just by one well-trained teacher, it can produce 1,000 golden students. Just by one golden student, they can produce 100 innovation to the world and a big good role to the world. Imagine how this world could be if that happens. And in the other hand, by reforming the curriculum, it can motivate thousands of students who unwanted to continue their study. It's such a huge and wise investment of the world of education. Thank you, and that's all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Patna, and today I'm standing here as the opposition team to this motion. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about education, of course, infrastructure is the key to get a good education, and these are the reason why. First of all, infrastructure linked to a comfortable house which presents such a technology and information. In this era, infrastructure is no longer just a building, but is more than that. It is access to get a good information. And information is the thing that the student needs in this era, not the teacher training. Because often teacher training just makes the teachers smarter than before, but there's no differences in their student. But access to information will make students smarter than before. Why? Because do you remember in the COVID-19 when the teacher tried to keep up with the technology, they have a very nice trainer from the government, but the result is there's a lot of students who didn't keep up with that thing because they don't have access in a good information like their teacher. The teacher have the good access information like internet and another facilities, but how about their student? That's actually the first problem that should be prioritized by the government. If just imagine if the government built a very nice infrastructure in every village in Indonesia, of course it will make everything clear. It will make everything easier for the student, not only for the teacher. So if we just only use the fund for a teacher training, it's better to use that in building access, internet and technology in every village in Indonesia, so all the students can get the benefit of that. Remember, in the field of education is also very fast and unavoidable. The market needs requires a very good skill. Back then, a good skill is when a student can pass the paper test. But right now, it's not that. Right now, the market needs a very nice student, a very good student that can understand what actually they do and know what they are doing. When we look for our school, right now, there's a lot of vocational school that don't even know about Microsoft Word. Of course, it's not just about the teacher that teach them, but also often they don't have access to practice more. And just imagine if the government still do like this, always change the curriculum without understand what the student needs, that will be very dangerous for our future. If the government only change the curriculum often and give the teacher more training without understand that the student needs a good access information technology at the same time, we will left behind. In this very fast-paced era, we already left behind in terms of technology, in the internet and the facilities. How long we will stand off it? Ladies and gentlemen, when there is a natural disaster in a developing country, they always build a building of this education first. Why they don't change the curriculum to face that problem? Why they don't do a teacher training according to that disaster? Why they just build a building? Because when it comes to the building of education, it means that they are showing the spirit of revival. Mark the start of that building. The building is a symbol of spirit and hope for the future. That's why the government should prioritize this as something that really crucial for the future. Not only focusing on this because of the teacher, but what the student needs. Ladies and gentlemen, a good access can make a student happier. A good access can bring everything easier to the student. Just imagine if the curriculum, teacher training, everything changed, but not how the infrastructure changed. It means that the student won't get what they need. Ladies and gentlemen, developing an infrastructure as a long-term thing is important and crucial, because by developing an infrastructure, it means we also make the students innovative more in this real life. Ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion is that infrastructure fund must be included as the top priorities as the container for channeling ability and harmony of education throughout every city in Indonesia, as to produce the children who are ready to face the challenge in this era, not only based on the book, but they feel what they do and they know what they are doing. Because by having a good development in infrastructure, it means we help every student in Indonesia, all students, not just one student, but all students to get what they want in the future. And when they are success in the future, it means that our country will be better in the vision of this world. I think that's all, and thank you.